Hello and welcome. My name is Sharon and this is Trio.of.Witches Tarot. This video is going to be a full walkthrough of the Cursed Auguries tarot deck, which I just got. I bought it secondhand on a Facebook group, and I'm going to see what decks I have that pair with it because it's a very different and strange deck. So Cursed Auguries doesn't have a book. It comes in a tuck box. So there's that, if that's a problem for you or not. And so we're just going to start looking at oracles. I'm just going to pull them from the pile as they are. So no particular order here. So this is Old Ways Magick. And I have this in some of my other videos. So we're not going to go through the whole Old Ways Magick, but we are going to go through the whole Cursed Auguries. So we have the Fool, and so we have the Spider, which is present in much of this deck, and I'm going to guess that's something wrapped up and trapped by the spider. Okay, so and our magician looks like a crazed, rabid deer. So color-wise, the palette I think is going together, and then we have, okay, so then we have the same antlers. They almost look like elk. Anyway, I need to do more research and finding out more info about this deck because there's a little bit on the Etsy shop, and then after that I'm not sure what all this is. So yeah, it's like a woman and she's got like the skull of the magician. Maybe that's what that's supposed to be. I know it's like centered around a witch. And I'm not sure if she is the frog or she's the rabbit or if she's both. Hard to tell. And I don't know anything about toads or frogs. I don't even know if this is a toad or a frog. Would love to know how to tell the difference between toad and frog. And anyway, so the emperor looks like he's carrying the eggs. Do the males tend to the tadpoles, the eggs? I don't know. Okay, and then the Hierophant is, so it's interesting the progression here. So we went from the magician and then the skull of what looks like the magician, and then the high priestess is wearing it, and then the Hierophant is just the skull but wrapped in all those thorns. So that's an interesting commentary, I feel like. I need to think about that some more. And the Lovers is two snails. The snails are fairly prominent in this deck too. So I'm not sure. I would definitely, and then this is the Chariot, and I'm so confused because are they just shells? I can't tell what's happening in this card. So anyway, I think I need to just like actually do some readings with these two decks together because I feel like their energy definitely meets each other without overpowering one another. Something, this is pretty, wow. So I think that worked. So another pairing I have that I think might bring some softness to this is the messenger cards. And I have like a whole video devoted to this deck. I really like it. And I thought, well, it might still meet the energy whilst, I don't know, maybe bringing it down to, I don't know, we're out of the dark place. I don't even know what to say about it. Okay, so there's your Hermit, and it's a spider coming out of a woman's mouth. Like, is she turning into the spider? and Hermit and Leader together is an interesting combination. So I feel like this is working. And the Wheel of Fortune is teeth and bones on a rope. And then Justice is like very, very interesting. So the Cursed Auguries is by a Spanish artist, and the artist's name is Ana Sora. And what it says on the back here is, step into a world of dark fairy tales with this deck of 78 tarot cards evoking imagery of the old craft and folk magic. It is suitable for both new and experienced readers. As we get to the minors, so that's like pretty gruesome hangman, we will see that it's also a Marseille deck. So I feel like this is definitely working. I definitely feel like this is also going to be a very cool yet creepy Halloween deck. Oh, I like that. So yeah, I feel like it definitely softens it, which in some instances I think I'm going to really want that, because there's a lot of skulls and snakes and things getting strangled and bones and spiders and frogs. So a lot of stuff. And then the star and the moon and the sun and the world, we'll put them all side by side, are all skulls. And I'm really liking this. Okay, so that was with messenger cards. Okay, so I only have, there's much fewer oracles this time, and I actually got some tarots out, which we will see later, to try and pair with this. I am not that familiar with Marseille. I definitely have to look up the meanings, because I do not, numerology is not something that I am familiar with. And I don't know if this is going to work. It might. You know, there's a lot of pink in the Cursed Auguries. So, you know, I think the palette at least works. But I'm not sure. Okay, so now we've worked through all of the majors. I'm not sure that it meets it, but because there's pips, you know, maybe it does. So the wands are branches, and all of the minors are color-coded as well. Very muted tones, as this whole deck is. And so we don't need to spend a whole lot of time because that. So I can see where this might work. And this, I actually got out of purgatory for this. So I think I will be keeping it at least to work with this and see how I feel about it. Okay, so that was the Language of Flowers Oracle by Sherilyn Darcy. I guess that's how you pronounce her name. And then another one is the Oracle of the Long Now by Ashley Cook. And this is a collage style oracle deck. And she has two tarots that are also collage style. And I thought maybe, you know, having people, because it's photographs, might bring something cool to that conversation. And I'm not sure though, so the color palette, I'm not sure. So we have a spider for the Page of Wands, and then a snake for the Knight. Yeah, so this isn't working for me. So I love this oracle, but it's just not for that. So let's try another one. So let's try the Southern Gothic Oracle. And this might just meet its match in this deck. And because, yeah, it's got this more antique looking, and I have the Haunts pack mixed up in here. I love this King of Wands. I love that fire. Love that card. And then the cups are tadpoles. So I am liking this. This is definitely, oh, and especially with the all the haunts in it. I guess they're not mixed in, at least not very well. I am liking this a lot. This is, yeah, this and, so far this and the messenger cards. Messenger cards a little bit less, I don't know what's the right word, gory, or I don't know, I have to think of the word. So yeah, this is totally working. I wasn't sure if it was going to, because this set does have some more intense colors in the palette of it. Okay, then we have, so we have here, the page is a spider, and I wanted to pull out the quartz and see if in every instance, okay, there they are similar. So we have the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands are both spiders. And then the Knight is a snake. And he's eating the tadpoles. Okay. And then the Queen is a hare. Flip this. And then the King, okay, so then the King is more the element. So in the Wands, right, we had fire, and I don't think we have even the hint of a creature in this one, in the Wands. But here we have a frog, but, you know, more prominent is the actual element of water. So I really like this pairing. It gives me all those creepy, witchy vibes. So very cool. Okay, so that was the Southern Gothic Oracle with the Haunts pack. Okay, so that was all of the oracles I had. And now I'm going to try some tarot with it. I don't usually do tarot with tarot, but I feel like maybe with this deck it will work. And so I have here the Afterlight edition of the Forager's Daughter. I have both editions, but I thought that the cream color borders would work better. And this has a lot of bugs and stuff in it, so. And then swords are nails, I think, more like the rustic old style nail. So I feel like, yes, I could use these two together. Because there's like this, in Forager's Daughter, it doesn't shy away from the more violent and distasteful, if that's the right word, aspects of nature. So it presents all of nature in its totality, I feel like. Much like the Brady does, but oh, I wonder if I should pull that Brady. Much like Brady does, but in a much softer way. And I like this. So that's Forager's Daughter, and I felt like that really worked. the Afterlight edition. So the next one is Yokai Yochi. And I am curious, like, so I don't know, in one of my videos I showed my binder, my binder that I use to catalog all my decks, plus kind of figure out what possible pairings I have. And this would be a particularly spooky Halloween combination, wouldn't it? Is it too much? What do you think? Okay, so we didn't talk about that. So we have the page, and again, it's not the spider like it was before, but it is the spider's web. So that's an interesting shift, and that's very much like the Fool, right? So interesting. Yeah, that's just interesting. And then we have the Knight is the snake again. And then the Queen is the hare, but just the hare's eye. Interesting. A little more tormented, isn't it? And then we have the nail in a tree stump, and then we have some snails on it even. Just gonna flip through some of these Yokai Yochis. I feel like this is really working in a really creepy way. Like you could almost like use these together to like create a story, a spooky haunted story. Like not even just using it as tarot, but as storytelling. That would be really cool. I wonder if I should do a video like that. I have to think about that. I don't hate that idea. Okay, so that is Yokai Yochi. Okay, on a much less creepy note is Light Visions. And this one I've kind of struggled with because of its color palette, finding something to pair with it. And I don't know if this is going to work. And I want to kind of get through, because the majors have this border on them. I'm going to get to the minors. The card's falling everywhere. Okay. And, I don't, well, this is so much more dreamlike and not like a nightmare. This is like nightmarish, right? And the last one I have is Darkness of Light, and I keep it in this bag. It came with a different bag. I don't know, I didn't like it, and then I just didn't like it. And this has that same kind of spooky vibe, dark. What's the right word? And I don't hate this. Okay, so our spider is back in the page. And he's on the apple. Oh, okay, so yeah, I guess I missed that. You know, we're going to go back and look, look at the court cards. Let's get through this. So then they, in Darkness of Light, they are color-coded also. And there's our hair for the Queen. And then we just have an apple on a tree for our king. So let's see, let's get through that suit, get to the cups. Let's just flip this back over. So palette-wise, I think it does And maybe, I don't know. What do you think? It does bring something to the conversation. I'm just not sure if it can meet Cursed Auguries where it is. Tower is made out of teeth. Yeah, I don't know. So that was the Darkness of Light with it. I didn't hate it. If you have, so you know, it works with the wands, the palette. If you have any suggestions for decks, I would love to hear them. So let's look at the quartz. Okay, I switched cloths because the other one got a little bit busy when trying to look at these. So these are the pages. So we have the spider with the wand and the spider with the tadpole. And we have the nails that the spider web has been built on, but not the spider. And then we have the spider with the apple. And then in the knights, which are all snakes. And we have the knight amongst the snake amongst a bunch of branches, and then the snake apparently eating the tadpoles, and then the snake, you know, weaving its way through the nails, which appear to be, are they arranged in the same? No. So there's 5 in the page and there's 4 here. I don't know if that's significant in any way. And then we have that hand, which is in the ace of swords, holding the apple and the snake wrapped around it. And then we have the queen, and she is a hare. So she's sitting, it looks like, on a nest of branches here. And then she's here drinking some water, and here's the tadpoles over here. And here she appears to be trapped in something that I'm just looking to see if like there was any hint at something being constructed in the swords. And not really. So that's interesting. This feels very Nine of Swords-ish, actually. And we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 nails. I have no idea. Is that significant? Maybe. And then here we have a hare, and she's just indulging herself in a lot of apples. But we still have, you know, the very thorny vine there. So then we have the king. And he is not an animal, but the element. So we have fire, and then we have water, although we do have the frog's legs, which is interesting to me. I wonder how that's significant. And then here in the swords, we have a couple snails, but just the nail and the wood. So it's interesting to me that air really isn't being represented here. I'm not sure what to think about that. And then in the pentacles, we have an apple on what appears to be a very old and barren apple tree. So that was all the quartz, and I don't know. I don't know if that means anything, but it is. So let's shuffle, because it does shuffle very well. It's like 300, 320, maybe 330 GSM. I don't really know my GSMs. It's definitely not one anyway, and it's got a little bit of a linen finish on it. And it overhands really nicely. It's hard to do with a tripod in the middle of you. So that's nice. And it, you know, it slides, glides and fans nicely. So that's the Cursed Auguries. I hope you enjoyed that, and please provide any comments below. Remember to like and subscribe and click on the bell so you are alerted when I have new videos. And take care of yourself and have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye. Well, it's time for another giveaway, and this time it is not a deck I don't jive with, but a deck that it was almost cheaper to buy 2 copies and not pay for shipping than it was to buy 1 copy and pay for shipping. So I thought, well, I'll just pay the little bit extra money. I'll get a 2nd copy and I will put it up in a giveaway. So as you saw, it's called Womanhood Revisited. And if you want to enter the drawing for this deck, put the word womanhood in your comments. And you will be entered, and you can enter in as many times as you want, but only once per video. So if you put in womanhood 5 times on the same video, you still only get 1 entry for that video. This should go a little faster. And so this deck is collage art and colorizations of like old newspaper articles and stuff and other art that he found. That's such a pretty world card. And I saw this on someone's Instagram, I believe it was, and it was the Fool card. And I just fell in love with that Fool card. And then I went out and found, I think I asked that person where they got this, and they told me that they just got it on Etsy. And it is indeed on Etsy. It's a French produced deck, so it came from France, and that's why the shipping was so expensive. And that's why buying the 2nd copy was only a little bit more, because it got free shipping than if I just got 1 and paid for shipping. So you, whoever you are that wins this, are the recipient of a brand new deck that I just decided to buy so I could share it, because I really, really like this deck and I don't think people know about it. And I will be doing a side-by-side comparison of this with, I'm not sure what yet, something, with something. Obviously it's all women, and it, I guess you could call it, some of it curated art. Not really art, but it's just old pop culture stuff, maybe you could say. I mean, there isn't a whole lot of info on it, and then his Facebook page is in French, and at least I think it is. But I think it's a fun little deck. I'm not in love with backs. I cannot think of almost anything else that would be better than these backs. I don't even understand the backs with the front, but and it's like that more kind of cheapy feeling cardstock, so you could probably bend it and mess it up if you weren't careful with it. So that is Womanhood Revisited, and if you would like to enter to win, enter the word womanhood in your comments below, and always remember to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.